Alright, it's time to find out, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a Brotherhood soldier? This was the hardest and easiest challenge at the same time I've ever done. I'll explain that later. But for the rules of the challenge, I can only wear Brotherhood armor, I can only use Brotherhood weapons, or a weapon that they have tried to use in the past. And what do you mean by try to use? Well, I will explain that later. But for now, it's time to make my character. I named him Paladin Dan, but then I gave him a pink mustache and a pink hair, because I like the color pink. It's my favorite color. And yes, I know it's a girl's color. My cousin actually gave me crap for that once, true story. And I said, I don't care, it's a pretty color. And he was like, oh, cool. And then he walked away, and that was that. So I put it into energy weapon, medicine, and melee. Because the Brotherhood do use those super slammers, which the cool kids say are quote-unquote bad to the ass. Now, I got hot-blooded and wild wasteland, because I always get wild wasteland because, I don't know, I like it. It's one of my favorite perks. After that, I got rid of all the weapons and all the armor that I couldn't use. I mean, I could sell them, but it feels like if I sold them, I'd be using them, so I decided not to. Now, it was time for me to go on and do some Brotherhood. So I went to the Hidden Hills bunker, and I got some Brotherhood armor and a Brotherhood tape so the Brotherhood could let me in, because this was going to be fun. They even had a laser rifle that I could use now, which was pretty good. I got myself a laser rifle, and then I used the password. They're like, how do you know that password? And they sent some people to greet me nicely. And by greet me nicely, I mean capture me and put a slave collar around my neck. So, you know, fun. After that, I talked to the elder, and he wanted to put me through a test. They wanted to see how I get rid of an NCR Ranger. So, I was down. After all, if I didn't do it, they would blow up my head. So, it's not like I had much of a choice. But this was my initiation test. So, I met with an NCR Ranger, and he was not impressed whatsoever. And since I didn't have good enough speech to talk him out of it, it was time for me to laser him down. Now, he had actual Ranger armor, which is actually pretty good, especially early on in the game, but I was naked. So the problem here is, it was my bare skin against bullets versus tough Ranger padded armor. As you could tell, the first time I tried this, it did not turn out well. So it was time for me to try it again. Attempt number 2. I'm sure with everything I've learned that I can easily take him out. After all, I've learned so much from my first encounter. And I forgot to save, so I had to talk to him again. This time I went right behind his back and tried to laser him straight in the face. I thought maybe if I got some critical hits in the face, I could take him out easier. But it did not work, as me trying to fight someone with a gun by getting shot and having no armor is a terrible idea. So my third attempt, let's see if I can do this. My next plan was to blast him and try to move around him. If I moved around him, maybe he couldn't shoot me. That was the plan anyway, but it wasn't really working out so well. So I backed up and used some stim packs. And, well, I did a lot better than I thought I would, but it still did not work. 3 attempts down, now it's time for attempt number 4. And yes, I did record every single attempt because I wanted you to witness my pain. And this time, I got straight in his face, and somehow I was able to do it. I don't know how I was able to do it that time, but I just rolled with it. Maybe the game gave me pity. Anyway, I told him that I wiped out the NCR Ranger, and he called me a brute, saying, you're a dumb brute, but a brute can be useful, so go do some work for me, brute. And I was pissed off at him, but I can't destroy the Brotherhood since I had to work for him. But I got my frustration out by stealing a super slam and some plasma weapons, because, well, screw you, you almost blew up my head, I'm gonna steal some stuff from you. I mean, that just seems fair. It seems fair to me, at least. Anyway, after talking to the elder and him telling me to go do stuff for him, I then had to find some dead bodies and get the tapes from them. So then it was time for me to travel through a canyon so I can get to the other side of the map. And the reason I want to do this is because I needed money for stim packs, but I was flat out broke, and I could sell Brotherhood stuff I stole, but I had a better idea. My plan was to head straight towards Vegas. And I did this for a very special reason, so I can get the King's quest line, because, well, the King quest line was the only one I can do since I didn't have a lot of speech. But even though I didn't have speech, I would do great in diplomacy. And by diplomacy, I mean kill the bodyguard so I don't have to go through all his crap. And fun fact, if you do that, you get to keep all the money. And then it was time for me to negotiate peace terms with the NCR, which I think I did a pretty good job at negotiating peace. As you can see, I did such a great job that they all decided to take a nap. Yep, they just took a nap.
Nothing suspicious or war crimey coming out here. Actually, the Geneva Convention doesn't really apply anymore since every single nation that signed it is a nuclear wasteland. So, you know what? Commit as many war crimes as you want. It's War Crime Monday. War Crime Monday. War Crime Monday. Commit some war crimes. Note, please do not celebrate this holiday. This holiday is not sanctioned by any country. Anyway, after that, I talked to the kings, and he gave me a favor, and I used my favor to get into the strip. And why do I want into the strip so bad? Is it to fight Benny? Hell no. It's so I can do what any good Vegas citizen does, gamble. Because my luck was at 10, so I can gamble for some money. And if I get enough money, I can buy a crap load of stim packs, which I need, considering that I have no armor whatsoever. And I was going to have no armor for some of the toughest quests in the game. That's what I meant by this is the easiest and hardest challenge. It's easy once you get the armor and the weapons, but before you have the armor, it's extremely difficult, so I needed lots and lots of stim packs. Frankly, there's enough of that money can't buy. That includes your soul, and yes, I will not clarify on that. It is possible that someone owns my soul. Anyway, after getting all those caps, it was time for me to search some bodies to find some tapes. And after looking at these tapes, I then realized that the Brotherhood people I was trying to look for were dead. And the next body I had to find was, well, it was with the boomers. Because of course it was. Because apparently this Brotherhood guy thought it was a good idea to check out the boomers, and he got blown to bits. Not that smart. Then again, I'm trying to do the same thing, and I have no armor whatsoever, so I guess if he's not that smart, then I'm even not smarter. Even dumber. Yeah, I said that dumb on purpose to sound funny. Don't laugh at me. Anyway, after that, I tried to find his body, but it kept getting blown away from me because, of course, it did. The game was laughing at me as I was in eternal anguish. Anyway, eventually I got the tape, and I ran out of there before talking to the boomers. I could have talked to them, but I decided I would do that later because I had a very special surprise saved for them. But now it was time for me to run back like the little tiny mouse that I was, running against the big, strong cat that could easily devour me in an instant. With that metaphor out of the way, it was time for me to start a new quest with the Brotherhood because, well, quests are fun, especially when you have no armor and you can die super easily. After that, I spoke to the Elder, and the new quest wouldn't be so hard. Now I just had to talk to patrols that were spying on people because the Brotherhood likes to spy on people and invade their privacy because that's fun, I guess. And I had a plan. These people kind of had armor, and after I talked to them, I don't really need them anymore. So, after talking to him and considering that there was no witnesses, I killed him and took his armor. Now, this was shitty recon armor, so it's no power armor or anything like that, but it is technically from the Brotherhood, so technically I am allowed to wear it. And recon armor is better than no armor at all, so I put on the armor. For committing murder against a fellow Brotherhood soldier, that I will take this secret to my grave. Shh, don't tell the Brotherhood. I then told the Elder about all my findings, and he decided to send me on the hardest quest imaginable, as I was supposed to go into vaults surrounded by creatures that can kill me, or fiends that can easily eat me alive, so I could, well, you know, fix his air filter, because air is important, and I'm just a dumb, dispendable pawn, just like all Brotherhood knights. And that's why the Brotherhood is doing so well right now, because of the way they treat their soldiers. Ha ha ha. Anyway, after that, I melted the fiend's organs, which is probably one of the most painful ways to die. Imagine having your organs slowly melt and turn to liquid. I guess in Fallout there is no Geneva Convention, because there's no way that these weapons would be used on anyone because of how cruel and unaccepting they could ever be.
Think about that next time you fire a plasma rifle, how much pain that you put someone through as their organs slowly melt and they turn to dust. Anyway, after violating the Geneva Convention once again, which is a favorite pastime of mine apparently, it was time for me to get the thing from the vault. Because these fiends suck. I have a high-powered plasma rifle, and they have, well, a golf club. So what do you think is going to win? A weapon from the future or a golf club? Yeah, not really that hard to tell who's going to win. Also, where are they getting all these damn golf clubs from? I don't understand that. Anyway, after that, I finally got that, and I got more filters, and it was time for me to talk to the Brotherhood, as now I was officially liked. And now that I was liked, I can use power armor weapons, right? So, I finished all the quests with the Brotherhood, right? Wrong. There are 2 more quests. There's Veronica's quest, because since she's a Brotherhood agent, I wanted to do her. Nothing like that, you sickos. But after that, I'll talk to her and send her home, because I want to be alone to make it more challenging. And the second part is I want to be idolized by the Brotherhood. But to do that, you have to complete the Lonesome Roan DLC. So after this, it was time to complete a DLC. But before I could do all that, I had to complete a mission so I can get power armor. So I cleared out the super mutants and placed a chip thing that I wasn't paying attention for. After I did that, it was finally time for me to get halfway decent armor. By halfway decent, I mean overpowered as crap power armor, because power armor is the best armor in the whole game. Well, Brotherhood power armor is actually the second best. To get the best, you have to side with Arcade, do his quest, or simply wait for the end of the game, and he'll give you Enclave armor. But I decided to go to Helios 1 after, because remember in the beginning of the game where I said a weapon they tried to get? Well, literally almost the entire Brotherhood was wiped out trying to get the C Laser Blaster Finder 9000 or whatever the heck it's called. No, I don't want to look it up for the video. Yes, if you correct me in the comments, you are a nerd, deal with it. So, since almost the entire Brotherhood chapter died trying to get this weapon, I figured it would be fitting to use, and I had to get it anyway for Veronica's questline, so that's what I did. I put the energy towards the weapon. I also decided to get some payback. Since the NCR, killed a bunch of us to take this place, I decided to have it rain down lasers from above and murder them all, because, well, an eye for an eye, am I right? Also, there was unique dialogue. If you're with the Brotherhood, you could actually say I'm with the Brotherhood with one of the lab coat guys. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm sure 99% of us missed that, because why the hell would you do those Brotherhood quest lines before going to this solar power plant, Helios 1? But yeah, as you could see, I incinerated them like magnifying glasses incinerates ants. But ants have more right than NCR soldiers, because ants have souls, and NCR soldiers don't. As I watched, as they were all incinerated, one by one, I watched them scream in pain and agony. As then, it came. The giant orbital strike from space destroyed them all. As after that orbital strike murdered and committed another violation of a Geneva Convention, maybe I should have a counter in the top right screen, I then talked to this little boy who gave me the blaster I needed. Now I can summon giant space lasers, and this will come in handy for later. And yes, I know the Brotherhood never used it, but almost their entire chapter was wiped out trying to get this thing. So I feel like it's close enough to a Brotherhood weapon. If you don't like it, then you could do your own run where you don't use it. Anyway, it was time for me to speak to Veronica and do her quest. As since I actually knew about the Brotherhood, I had unique dialogue where I said, the Brotherhood's not that bad. She's like, oh, that's cool. You want to travel along with me? And I was like, heck yeah. Fun fact, Veronica actually likes girls, which I think is cool that New Vegas has a bunch of LGBTQ plus community characters. One of the reasons why I love the game so much. That, and you can violate the Geneva Convention, which I am obsessed with apparently. Which you can all tell by watching this video, that I am an obsessed, crazy person that may or may not have a soul, but at least I am not an NCR soldier. Anyway, after completing their quest, her and the Elder yelled at each other, and Veronica decided to go. But she still stayed a part of the Brotherhood, because I accidentally told the wrong thing on accident. I wanted her to join the followers, so I feel like that's a better ending, but oh well. Then we got jumped by a bunch of Brotherhood soldiers, because, well, Veronica dare question the elder. Yep, the Brotherhood's not a cult at all. I enjoy helping a faction that tries to kill me. This is yeah. Yeah, this is why I don't get the Brotherhood ending or Brotherhood happiness or whatever the heck you people call it. Anyway, after that, I talked to Veronica and she was like, well, they tried to kill me. I love my family. And I'm like, your family's effed up. She goes, yeah, but it could be worse. We could be an NCR family. As in, we laughed. As in, it was time for Veronica to stay with me. Even though I told her that, I told her to leave right away because, well, I don't really need her anymore because I completed that quest. And I never, ever had her as a companion again. Yay! As me and Veronica talked for the very last time, I got her perk, which I could never, ever use because I was finished with her. Yep, very enlightened. Now it's time to do Lonesome Road. And why am I doing that? Well, if you have the missiles not strike anyone, you're idolized by the Brotherhood, which since you have to literally do a DLC to be idolized by them, I thought if you idolize by them, you get something special besides, hey, you're great, which you don't. So you have to do an entire DLC just to get idolized by the Brotherhood, but you don't get anything from it. Why? Why? Every other faction, you don't have to do a DLC to get idolized by. Why? Why? Literally, the Brotherhood quests are the hardest in the game, and you have to do a complete DLC, one of the hardest DLCs in the entire Fallout franchise, just for them to go, yeah, you're pretty cool now. But I was doing it anyway. And yep, I had to hunt some Deathclaws along the way because, you know, that's fun. But as I followed the Deathclaw, it turns out the Deathclaw was actually dead. And side note, there's no way that creature killed the Deathclaw. Those creatures are like an ant compared to it. So I don't know how the hell that Deathclaw died. That's some bullcrap. But anyway, now that there was some Deathclaws, it was time for me to hunt them with giant space lasers, which seemed, I don't know, fair, I guess. But yeah, when the giant space lasers knocked them down to the ground, I got knocked down to the ground too, but I quickly changed to my laser rifle as it was time for me to shoot him dead before he can kill me. As apparently a giant space laser to the face isn't enough to kill him, but it was close enough, and that's what I would do. I would wait a day, launch a giant laser in their face, and shoot them down with a laser rifle until they fell into the pits of hell, because, well, hell is nice around this time. And I even beat one in the face with a super slam because I am a bad A. But don't worry, I did die a lot during this. I just didn't show it because if I did, the video would be way too long and I would cry because you would know how terrible of a gamer I actually am. And then I launched a missile, launched it back into the place I started so I can finally meet Ulysses because, you know, missiles are so much fun. Hooray! It's not like we had enough of them in Fallout. Also had to deal with demons from the dark depths of hell because, well, they know what I've did in the night. Anyway, then I talked to Ulysses, and I was able to talk him out of trying to kill me because I had 100 speech, and I didn't have enough stim packs to fight him, so all you call me a win because I didn't fight him. I don't care. Do a challenge on your own and fight him. And first off, why is violence always the answer with you? How come solving things with your words is seen as wimpy? Maybe I'm not the problem and you're the problem. Maybe you should look yourself in the mirror if that's your solution all the time is violence. Anyway, after I talked him out, it was time for us to fight together as brothers. And that's what we did, as now he is my brother who has the power to nuke me and an entire civilization. As I talked him out of trying to kill me, which you have to use this special dialogue, even if you have 100 in speech, you can still mess up really easily here, which I did multiple times. I just didn't show it because the video would be too long, and I'd be embarrassed to show you all the times that I messed up, even though that I told you about it, so what was the point of even hiding it? I don't know. But as all these soldiers came to chase us, I came with my super slam and began to slam them down because I was not scared, because I was a mighty Brotherhood paladin. And paladins are not scared of anything. Paladins fight in the night, and paladins steal people's technology and claim that it's in the name of justice, as the Brotherhood should, because we're an isolationist society that hates outsiders, and that has never led to anything bad in history ever. Isolationism is the greatest system ever, and there's no society where anything bad led to it. You can just look that up, and if you know what I'm talking about, good job. You're a fellow history nerd like I am. Pat yourself on the back if you thought of any civilization that died due to its isolation. Anyway, then I blew up some bombs and caused mass devastation because, well, why not? Ulysses was doing most of the work, so I can just go boom, boom, boom and blow up some bombs because I like explosives, and I am an insane freak psychopath that loves to violate the Geneva Convention. As then, Eddie was willing to sacrifice himself to save the day, and to make sure that no missiles are launched at anyone. And that's what I agreed to. I had Eddie sacrifice himself, and everyone cried because they love this robot for some reason, even though he's an annoying little piece of junk that can barely even talk. Yes, I said it. I probably lost like 20 subscribers just calling this robot annoying, because people love him so much, and I honestly do not get the love. Anyway, after Eddie sacrificed himself and I made my entire audience mad at me because they love robots so much. Yes, I know my audience, and no, they don't love robots like that. Get your mind out of the gutter. With Lonesome Rome done and the world saved from nuclear missiles once again, it was time for me to travel out into the wasteland and to finally beat the game. As then the Brotherhood of Steel idolized me. I know it said liked, but they idolized me. Look, idolize, see? I did it. So now I can actually complete quests in the game. So I met with Benny. He told me that, well, I don't care what he told me, because I just skipped past his dialogue and told him to meet me in his room alone. Oh yeah, but instead of sweet, hot, fun, I then punched him to death, as he had a gun. Now I could have, talked to the guy about him betraying Mr. House, but I was going to betray Mr. House anyway, so it seemed disingenuous for me to use that against him. So anyway, it was just time for me to slowly beat him to death as he shot me with a pistol. I'm not going to lie, this fight was way closer than I expected, but he did have a pistol and I had nothing but bare fists. But I also had power armor, but this is before Bethesda decided to make power armor actually a great piece of armor. Now it's just an annoying hunk of junk that you need to train to get in. But anyway, after killing Benny, I talked to Yes Man, and I decided to do his ending because, well, the Brotherhood would probably be safer with the NCR ending because the NCR eliminates all threats and becomes its ally, but screw safety, they put me through hell. So we're going to do the Anarchy ending and have the Brotherhood survive out into the wasteland and just throw them out there and hope they do a good job. As then I decided to assassinate Caesar and upgrade the Securitrons at the same time. Why? Because I felt like it. And upgraded Securitrons makes the last battle of Hoover Dam really easy. And I wanted to make this battle as easy as possible because I don't hate myself. I know some people don't do it to make it hard, as then when they get the Yes Man in, and they choose every option that makes their day difficult. But I don't do that because I actually enjoy myself and I enjoy having fun and I enjoy making the odds in my favor, and I'm not a massive masochist. That's why I don't enjoy a lot of the DLCs, because the DLCs are pure pain and they're something that you would play in hell. And if you don't believe me, then play the DLCs for yourself and you will feel yourself ripping out your own hairs and crying out in frustration like we all have done during Lonesome Road at least. So yeah. After that, I used a giant space laser on Caesar, but I used it a little bit too early as it didn't kill them all, but it did damage them all. So with them all damaged, it was time for me to destroy them with my Super Slam, because since the Caesar's Legion liked melee so much, and the fun fact, I enjoy melee, it's my favorite way to fight when I play the game. When I have a gun, I'm like, what do I do with this? And I just start bashing people with it because I am a melee Chad, the chaddest of all Chads. I decided just to destroy them down with my Super Slam, and it worked pretty well. As they all fell down dead, I then upgraded the module, and I had a better army of Securitrons. Now it was time for me to talk to the independent tribes of the Waste. But before I did that, I decided to murder all the boomers because, well, they tried to murder me first, an eye for an eye. Then I talked to Papa Khan, and I decided to help the Khans break their alliance with Caesar. Since Caesar's dead anyway, he was weak, so why ally with him? I also like the Khans because, well, the Khans are cool. I don't know what to tell you. I just like the Khans. There's no deep reason or anything. They just seem cool. So yeah, after talking to each one individually and using my speech, I was able to convince all the Khans not to ally with Caesar. which is yay, no Caesar's Legion Alliance, hip hip hooray. After convincing them all, I went back to Yes Man and told him that I convinced the Khan to leave, as Yes Man actually hates the Great Khans, and I really don't know why. Maybe because Benny hates them because he had a deal with them, and Benny talked to Yes Man all the time. I don't really know. Yes Man has his own biases, but he can't disagree with you, which kind of contradicts itself. I would love to see Yes Man in the future, but I don't think we ever will, since the Mr. House ending is pretty much confirmed canon. At least I hope. We can all hope, because I am a Mr. House fan. And Mr. House is my savior. The savior of Vegas and the savior of the wasteland. Anyway, I then told Yes Man to ignore the rest of the tribes, as then it was time for the battle. It was time for the Battle of Hoover Dam. As well, was I really prepared for the Battle of Hoover Dam? I thought I was. And even if I wasn't, I had 100% speech, so I could just talk my way out like a little wuss if I absolutely had to. It was a bit difficult with legionaries coming at me, but I was able to, burn their organs with laser weapons, which I do not think laser weapons will be accepted into Geneva Convention, because this has to be one of the worst ways to die imaginable. I do not know how they were able to be made in Fallout. Then again, ever since the Europeans invaded the Middle East, I don't think they cared about the Geneva Convention. Did they follow the Geneva Convention in the Fallout universe? Is there a Geneva Convention? I don't really know. Maybe can some of you nerds tell me about that? Anyway, after that, I destroyed some Brotherhood soldiers, managed to get their equipment, or not Brotherhood soldiers, NCR soldiers that stole Brotherhood armor. So technically, I'm just taking back what's rightfully ours, because I am a good old member of the Brotherhood. So yep, after upgrading my armor and making myself even stronger, it was time for me to talk to Yes Man and make a decision. Now, I had two decisions here. One, I could... Oh, excuse me. There's some ants trying to kill me. Let me just deal with them real quick. Alright. Now, I had two decisions here. One, I could make it so the dam doesn't have power, so the NCR leaves, which would cut off all of Vegas' power supply and cause massive chaos. Or two, I could give the power to myself and have a massive army actually help me. If I destroy the dam's power, I don't have any army helping me. So, I don't know why you would ever pick destroy the dam's power. A lot of people pick that, though, because they hate themselves and want the game to be harder. But I do not hate myself, believe it or not. Yes, I know, very, very hard to believe. So I picked send the power to the dam. And yeah, then Securitrons almost blew me up with missiles to thank me. So anyway, now it was time to fight some legionaries, and the legionaries had some good power fists, so I had to keep my distance and hit him harder than he hits me. Luckily, I had the Super Slam perk, which is literally one of the best melee perks in all of New Vegas. If you want a New Vegas character, you have to get the Super Slam, because the Super Slam is literally the best perk. You cannot compare with my Super Slam. You cannot compare with my super slam. You try to fight me, yet you fall on the ground. And then I completely got rid of these stupid legionaries who stood no match for me. Then I talked to Lake Atlantis, and I decided to talk him into letting me fight him alone, because I didn't feel like fighting a bunch of different soldiers. And I actually killed him, but I died to legionaries, which was the first time ever. But it was off screen, and I didn't show it because I was too embarrassed. But I told you about it anyway, because I have to come clean to all my sins, so I can get into ant heaven with all the ants. I'm not good enough for human heaven. Don't question it. Anyway, it was time for me to battle Lake Atlantis, as he actually knocked me off of a roof. And I thought he won, because I should have died from the fall damage, because keep in mind, you don't have limit against fall damage with Brotherhood suits in Fallout New Vegas like you do in the other Fallout games. As I fought Lake Atlantis, I managed to knock him down, as I glitched him into a wall and destroyed him. As the great monster of the East was defeated, I then talked to General Autumn, where he told me that I did a good job. But I was not taking it for him. I took the dam for myself and for the people of Vegas, and for the Brotherhood. But I was a nice guy, so I decided to talk my way out of things, because, I don't really, like violence. But I changed my mind because violence is rad, so I had him thrown off a dam instead. And as he was thrown off the dam and turned into the Waterman, I proved yes you can in fact beat Fallout New Vegas as a Brotherhood soldier.